manage to find peace, to be able to go towards liberation, to be one with Him. In order for us to experience peace, Krishna teaches us in this chapter that we do not have to run away from where we are. We don't have to go to a remote place like in the Himalayas or in an ashram or a monastery like that. He teaches us that we can be right here and be able to use whatever we do, whatever we are supposed to do in our daily lives, using that as a tool to be able to reach peace and reach Him. Thing to do, to choose dharma, which is the right thing to do and the duty we are supposed to be doing, and doing that as a worship to the divine and expecting nothing in return. That is how he says we would be able to appreciate what we are already endowed with, the peace, the joy that we are all given. And that's what being karma yogi is about, living a daily life like we are, yet be able to connect with Him. So when we connect with Him, when we experience this peace, what are we supposed to do then? How are we supposed to continue to live in this world? For that, Krishna says, that's where the 25th verse comes in the Karma Yoga. Saktaha karmanya vidvamso yadha kuruvanti bharata kuryat vidvan stada saktaha chikir loka sangraham. He says, as Krishna says, as the ignorant, avidvan, ignorant people are called avidvans. Men act from attachment to action. O Bharata, he calls Arjuna Bharata here. He says, Arjuna, so should the wise, meaning the Vidwan people who are aware of this knowledge and have found their peace, they should also be working without attachment, wishing and desiring for the welfare of the world. When Krishna calls Arjuna Bharata here, the superficial meaning is Arjuna, who is a descendant of the Bharata Vamsha, which is started by the king Bharata and was the son of Shakuntala and Dushyanta. But the inner meaning is Bharata. Bha means light, knowledge about the ultimate. Rata means one who revels in it, depending on the context, one who reveals it, one who seeks it. So Arjuna is our connection, conduit to get the ultimate knowledge from the divine to us. So that is the inner meaning, Bharata. So what Krishna is talking about is about how we act in the world as a routine. When we look at the things we do, we are mostly aware, many of us, how we do things in our day-to-day life, whether it's personal life or professional lives. We usually do it with such zeal, such interest, such commitment, such interest. And we do it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. We do it with such fervor, and it takes a toll on us physically, mentally, emotionally. We toil and we feel stressed and strained. And why do we work so hard? Why do we do so many things so much? Because most of us want to gain more, want more, have more, collect more, enjoy more. We think the more we have these worldly possessions, whatever they are, it may be material things or emotional things, whatever they are, we think we are happy when we get more. It may be about the family, it may be about the finances, it may be about the friends, it may be about getting fame. You name it, there are so many things we chase after constantly. And we want more and more, not only for ourselves and also for our loved ones. We also want more compared to so and so. It's not just for us, we also compare. We say, I want to be more, I want to have more than, be better than so and so. And all the while we are attached to the results. We want the world to conform to our liking. We want the world to run the way we want it to run. Certain things should happen or certain things should not be happening. So there is constantly a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety, apprehension about what is going to happen from what we do. And things don't always go according to what we want. And when they don't go, we get dampened, our spirits get dampened, we suffer a lot. And suffering comes from having regret about the results from the past or anxiety about the future. In that process, we forget what we have, all the blessings we have, and forget to enjoy what we have and concentrate on what we don't have or yet to have. So that's how an ignorant person does things, is what Krishna is talking about. An ignorant person does not mean unsuccessful person. He could be very successful, she could be very successful in this world with all the things you can think about, having a family, having a professional life and lots of possessions, house, car, whatever. But they are so chasing that they may forget what it is all about, what life is all about. So, what Krishna says is, Saktaha karmanya vidvamso yadha kurvanti bharata. When somebody is so attached to this world, how they are chasing things, constantly running after things, kuryad vidvans tada saktaha chikirshur loka sangraham. A person who is aware of the knowledge, aware of connection with the Lord, having peace, should also work as hard as that person who is just doing it for himself or herself. With such zeal, interest, diligence, sincerity, as if that person's life depends on it, as if he's looking out for himself. Okay? So for all external appearances, Krishna says you cannot see the difference between somebody who has the knowledge and somebody who is just looking out for himself. The difference is inside. Inside where, while the ignorant is motivated just for himself, very self-centered, for himself, herself, one's own family, loved ones, whatever. The person who has the knowledge, who is aware of the divine, is doing it for the sake of the world. See the difference? They are also working that hard, should be working that hard, but for the sake of the world. And Krishna gives an example here. He says in the same chapter, almost every verse is a gem in this chapter. He says in 322, Nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. Look at me, I'm constantly working, doing things. I have nothing to gain from whatever I'm doing. But I don't stop creating. I don't stop taking care of all of you. So just like me, you should also be working for the welfare of the others. And when we look at history, we see so many realized people who have done that. Buddha, after he found his nirvana, what did he do? He came back to the society to help others find peace. And you have several examples like that. Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi, you have several people who have found peace for themselves, who have found the ultimate connection with the divine, but didn't stop, didn't just sit in a corner and do nothing. They came back to help the world. So they do that simply because it needs to be done. Okay? But yet, when a person with the knowledge does it, he or she can do it without attachment to the results. They don't have to worry about what's in it for me. You see, I'm just doing it because that's the divine thing to do. That's what, I'm supposed to do. And when we do things with that type of attitude, Krishna says we do things better when we don't worry about what's going to happen and what's in it for me. We do things better and we can accomplish even better. And we can face whatever comes our way much better. That's called prasada buddhi, another pillar of karma yoga. Whatever comes our way, we face it with samatvam, equanimity, and be grateful for anything that's given to us as a blessing in life. So this person who has the knowledge is not attached to the result for his own self-interest, but is attached to the action for the greater good of the community, for a nobler cause, bigger than himself or herself. So serving the community is very, very important. But Krishna also makes another point here. He says, say you found your peace and you just sit there. To a person, a lay person who's looking at you, there is no difference between a person who is lazy and not doing anything and a person who has found peace and not doing anything. See? So he says that is very important, whether you like it or not. He says you are a role model for some people or the other, depending on your level of position in your life. People are looking up to you as a parent, as a neighbor, as a employee, father, mother, spouse, whatever. So you have to keep this in mind. Yada charati shreshtaha tatta devetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurte lokastad anuvartate, he says in the same chapter. He says, you're setting an example. So you have to be careful about how you're conducting yourself. So just because you found your peace doesn't give you a right to just sit there and do nothing. Okay? Because others can say, oh, okay, peace means doing nothing. You see, finding the divine means doing nothing. No, you cannot do that. And also, after saying this, he says one more thing. He says, na buddhi vedam janayet ajnanam karma sanginam joshayet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samacharan. He says, you have to continue to work and you have to make sure you don't have an attitude. You don't do it in a show-off way. Like, I found the truth, I am above you. And if somebody is running like in their rat race, trying to get that, this, whatever, you're not supposed to say, no, that's not the right way to do. See? Don't teach unless they are ready to teach, he says in the 18th chapter. Make sure they're ready to listen to you. So don't be overbearing, don't show off, don't be condescending, don't be patronizing, don't be critical. Let them do their thing, let them run their show, let them take their journey. Set an example. People should look at you and say, I want what he has. I want to live the way she's living. You see, you set an example not by preaching, but living the truth that you have found. Does that make sense? And in fact, in the 18th chapter, he says, he gives all this advice and tells Arjuna, first of all, don't teach unless they are ready to be learning. And second of all, if you teach, I taught you all this, but you make the decision about how you want to conduct your life. You see, divine is saying, it's up to you. Just know that there will be consequences to anything you choose, but you choose the path after I told you what all I need to tell you. You have the knowledge, you have the buddhi to choose the way you need to be choosing it. So for all those reasons, also we need to continue to work. And he says, in addition, we owe it to the society. In the 12th verse, in the same chapter, he says, Tai dattan apradayabhyo yo bhunte stena evasaha. He who enjoys life's gifts, blessings, without offering something back to the society is like a thief. You know, Krishna says, you got so much from the world. You have to give. You have to serve your community. And this service to the community is said so many times, again and again and again in the Gita. Again in the 18th chapter, he says, Nacha ashushave vachyam. My word, my teaching is only for those who want to serve. Serving the community, not just taking care of yourself. You have to be ready to serve the community in order to get the benefit from my teachings. So it's a very important thing about seva. So in other words, Manava Seva is Madhava Seva. When he says take care of the world, Loka, what is the world? World is full of people, living beings. So taking care of them is what he's talking about. And even sannyasis, you know, most of us can follow Karma Yoga, but a few people choose to go by the path of sannyasam. And he says even those are not exempt. They have to be serving the community by teaching, by talking about the scriptures, by spreading the good word, by having satsangs. So they have also obligations, even though they are pursuing to get moksha through sannyasam, doesn't mean they are not going to help the society. But for the most of us, he says, it's easy to follow Karma Yoga. That way you can be where you are, enjoy the comforts of your life, enjoy the comforts of your family, and then you could continue to pursue your inner peace. So for all external purposes, Karma Yogis look just like anybody else. Even he gives example of Janaka in this chapter. Janaka was the king who was the father of Sita, and he was a Karma Yogi. Yet he did not abandon his position. He continued to be the king, take care of his people, ruled his kingdom in a just way, and continued all that he had to do. So he says that's what it should be like. You would want to be a Karma Yogi so that you are benefiting yourself and benefiting the community. So you would be growing up in the community, getting married, having family, having a job, all those things. All the while, it's the inside you're changing. See, unless you change the inside, you cannot get peace. You can run away to a different place, but he says, as long as you carry the same mind you have which is disturbed, you cannot have peace. You have to change the mind. And do everything as an offering to God. In the 9th chapter, he says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi, yat juhoshi dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, it could be a very mundane thing, you know, or very important thing. Doesn't matter, anything in between. Do everything as an offering, starting from getting up in the morning to eating your food to doing big things. So whenever you're doing things, and seva doesn't have to be a big thing, it could be a very simple thing, a simple smile, a kind word, lending your ear. Whatever you can do, keep doing it and do it as an offering to me. So, to summarize it, I would want to say that when Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga, he's teaching us that we don't have to go any place. We can be right here and pursue peace, joy, the bliss he has given us. In order to do that, he says, use whatever you do, action. Karma means action. Do that, whatever you're supposed to be doing. Make sure it's a dharma, it's the right thing to do. And make sure you're doing it in a non-attached way, that you're not expecting anything back. In order for you to do that, you need to change your buddhi, your attitude, two ways. One is be in an attitude of gratitude. No matter what you face in life, face it with, gratefulness. And be happy, be grateful for all the blessings you have. And whatever you're doing, do it as though you're worshipping the God, with that reverence, how we put flowers, how we, pray. Do it as a prayer all day long. So live your life as a prayer all day long. It's very important that you pursue your own peace first. Without your peace, you cannot give peace. You cannot give what you don't have. But once you find your peace, don't be lazy. Keep serving the community. Do it as though you're trying to get something out of it, even though you're not trying to do anything to get anything out of it, but you're doing God's work. I would like to close with a saying from Ronald Reagan. He said that nobody can help everybody, but everybody can help somebody. Okay? That's my presentation.